Taping your mouth shut for amazing sleep. What is it? How do you do it? Why should you do it? If you don't follow this channel already, hi, my name is Alex. I am a health and performance coach. I help high performers optimize their health so they can find their zone. And in this video, we're going to talk about taping your mouth shut, why that could be beneficial for you, because 20 to 25% of the population are estimated to be mouth breathers. You might have seen mouth breathers. It's often connotated with being dumb, low IQ, and there might actually be some science to that. And although there's no categorical research as of yet, there are breath therapists in Stanford currently researching this stuff with some promising results. And if you just do a quick scour on the internet, you'll see plenty of anecdotal stories of how people have been improving their health because they've been taping their mouth shut whilst they sleep. Now, why should you care? Well, if you're walking around your day-to-day life as a mouth breather, but not only that, if you are even sleeping as a mouth breather, which would mean that you'd often wake up with a dry mouth, maybe you feel a little bit groggy in the morning, you'll want to fix this issue immediately, because mouth breathing during the night can lead to what we call hypoxic events, meaning that it impairs your ability to get deep restorative REM sleep. We know that REM sleep is associated with solidifying memories, learning, all that good stuff that is essential for brain function the next day. So if you're breathing through your mouth throughout the night, you're probably going to be waking up quite groggy. You're probably not going to be feeling at your best cognitively the next day. It can also cause sleep apnea and other sleep issues and just an overall reduction in sleep, because when you breathe through your mouth, you actually take in less oxygen. Now, of course, we're speaking about mouth breathing at night, which I believe would be very, very common, but also you have it during the day. If you ever notice someone who's a mouth breather, they often have quite a recessed jaw. That's because the muscles here are weakened or have essentially accommodated for an increase in oxygen. That's the body's attempt to increase oxygen, because your nose is designed for that. But if you're doing it continuously through your mouth, you're going to basically train your mouth to essentially open up those airways a bit more in a futile attempt to get more oxygen. And there was an interesting case study many years ago in which there was a pet gerbil. They gave it to this child. It actually had allergies, and so it became congested. Thus, they became a mouth breather. And over the years, they took a few more pictures and found that the facial structure had actually changed, or would you say perhaps collapsed or recessed, because of that congestion. They were forced to breathe through the mouth. Nasal breathing is so imperative for proper facial growth or structure. Basically, it makes you better looking. It allows you to perform better. It warms, it slows, and it moistens the air as well. Also, the nose adds nitric oxide to your breath, and up to even 6 times compared to mouth breathing, 6 times. And that is essential for cognition. As well as that, you also increase an uptake of around 20% more oxygen by breathing through your nose, which is absolutely crazy. Now, the nose is the kind of organ in which if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So if you are a continuous mouth breather, if you do not make a conscious effort to breathe through your nose, then your airways are going to tighten up. And you might find that when you start to try and breathe through your nose more consciously in the beginning, they might be quite tight, those airways. You need to persist, and those airways will eventually open up a little bit more. It's about teaching yourself to breathe through your nose. And that sounds really simple, but you have to habitually remind yourself to continue to breathe through your nose. That means during the day and of course during the night. And there is a clear way you can do this, and it is in the title of your video, and why it's getting quite a lot of traction at the moment online. And that is taping your mouth shut whilst you sleep. Now, before you go down this road, you want to have dismissed any potential medical causes. Maybe you've got a deviated septum, maybe you have some allergies, whatever. Please consult your doctor. Once you've done that, it's very safe to trial this stuff on the basis that when you tape your mouth shut, you don't wrap it around your face or use a ton of tape and look like you're in a hostage situation. What you want to do is just use a tiny bit of tape. It's just at the top of the bottom of your lip. You can actually buy products of this that actually are specific for mouth taping during your sleep, but I actually found that I got ripped off, and the best way to do it is just to use some basic 3M tape. Super cheap, lasts a long time as well, probably last you a year, a whole roll of it. So I actually did this for around 30 days. And I'm not someone I would consider myself a mouth breather. I've actually been very conscious of this many years ago. And this is kind of on the subject of mewing, if you've ever known about that stuff. And I have to say, whether it's placebo, I don't know. Obviously, it was not in a sleep lab, so I couldn't see myself sleeping, but I did feel a little bit more refreshed. I did feel a little bit better, a bit easier to get out of bed, a bit more spring on my step. My sleep's pretty good at around sleep score of 85 to 90s, but even with that added benefit of perhaps taping your mouth shut, because there are some times in which I will wake up and I've noticed the way I'm slept, I'll have my mouth open, and that's obviously not ideal. So Give it a try. There's literally no harm in trying this as long as you've consulted your doctor first and foremost. And I do genuinely think it's one of those hacks or biohacks when it comes to an immediate positive effect on your health. If you want to learn more about this stuff, about how your nose works and why breathing through your nose is so essential for peak performance, there's a few books that I've read and I would recommend these. So I think I mentioned it at the start, but McKeown, The Oxygen Advantage, James Nestor, Breathe. You also have, by Patrick McKeown again, Close Your Mouth, and you have Dylan Werner, The Illuminated Breath. Just give this a go for even a week, and I think you'll feel an immediate difference, especially if you're someone who is unconsciously a mouth breather, especially when you sleep. So give it a go and let me know what you think.